Good evening, everyone. My name is Nikhil Verma. I'm the tech lead for AlgoBharat, and I'm very pleased to welcome all of you to our first AlgoGyaan Tech Lab. And this is going to be a weekly affair where we would present to you the nuts and bolts of the Algorand blockchain platform and help you become a part of our family as a developer. Of course, we have been doing lots of things like this in the past. We are putting this, more structured way to be able to kind of get developers to have a good learning experience. Uh, the whole objective is that every other week, so we have and we assume that there are a lot of .NET developers in India also, besides Python developers. So we are going to be doing an alternate session. The whole roadmap will be published, and I believe some of you must have already seen it. So this week we are going to get started by showing you the capabilities of AlgoKit. This is going to be conducted, the whole AlgoGyaan will be conducted by Sunil Kapadia. Sunil is a very accomplished developer, has been doing great things in terms of presenting the value of our platform and talking about how to develop applications and a great resource. And I am very pleased to announce that Sunil is going to get started very soon, and you guys are going to be witnessing the first AlgoGyaan Tech Lab event where we will be presenting to you AlgoKit. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sunil.
Yeah, thank you, Nikhil, for the introduction. And I hope it is all right. So, let us begin, guys. First of all, good evening, everyone. Maybe from some other regions, if somebody is there, then good morning to you guys. Uh, we are going to start around the Algo kit. But before that, I just want to brief about how the blockchain applications work and all. And I hope that everybody who have joined today or who has joined today rather, they have some idea of how blockchain works. So I'm not going to go into that theory portion of how blockchain works and all. The main thing is how the blockchain application is designed, let's say, because we have been in the era of MVC architecture, right? Model view controller, we are bound by that. We create front end in React.js or any other like Next.js or Nuxt.js. We create the backend in Node.js and the database gets stored somewhere. And all of these things are controlled by the API layer and all. But in that case, or in this particular situation, if we want to fix or if we want to add blockchain, how will you do that? Because blockchain presents an immutable layer. For now, let's say blockchain is an immutable layer for everybody, for every application. That is the best, you can say, capacity of blockchain we want to use. So no data corruption and all. But in order to use that, we need to add that blockchain layer also. So now our architecture becomes MVCP. That means you need to add one more layer, which depends on blockchain. Now, in order to do something in blockchain, we need to program, of course, because in React or any other language also, we need to program to do something. Over here also, the same rule applies. So the programming in blockchain world is typically known as smart contracts. So basically, if you think that smart contracts, because I mean some sort of AI capacity, no, they are self-executing and the behavior is pretty much the same every time they get executed. So maybe that is the reason they are called smart. Now, smart contracts can be designed in multiple languages. We have been seeing the rise of blockchain since last 10 years. So there has been plenty of languages across the globe. And every blockchain platform which came into existence after Ethereum, specifically after 2013, over there, they all wanted to have their own programming language, right? So that ultimately what happened from the developer's perspective, you need to add one more, you can say, language capabilities to your skill set. So ultimately, some people migrated, some didn't. But then the people migrated, what they have to do? They have to write down the contract, or to say smart contract into their typical language, like say Solidity, Rust, or any other language. Then you deploy the smart, right? Because everything currently is connected towards internet. We cannot say that we can work locally and all. So in order to get in order to, you can say, leverage the capacities of blockchain, we have to deploy the contract. That's where the RPC URL or remote procedure call comes in the picture. So you develop a code, you deploy over there. But then the beauty is that you don't need to share the link with everyone. You just need to share the smart contract address and you are good to go. You can leverage that in a DApp and everything, right? So ultimately what happens, you just need to have a smart contract. You need to deploy that smart contract. So you will get an address alongside with that RPC URL where you have deployed the contract. And then that thing is consumed or can be consumed by your front end. That can be anything. You can convert that smart contract deployment into an API and all. So overall, the architecture now becomes MVCP, right? So now the challenge for any developer, being that you are a full stack developer, you are a backend developer, you are a front end developer, how to start blockchain program, right? Now today we are going to talk about Algorand, specifically AlgoKit, not Algorand, AlgoKit. Now every blockchain platform or every platform in the world in terms of programming, every sort of support is required from the developer's perspective. Why? To speed up the development process. Let's say we can develop the Python code in Notepad also, but we will use Visual Code. Why? Just to speed up the process so that we can access, if there are some errors we can solve, we can see quickly and we can fix, right? So over here also, they being a part of Algorand, I'm a regional ambassador from Gujarat, from Algorand. So together, I joined recently, but the team decided to have a kit, to have a software development kit sort of scenario where people can leverage that kit to quickly, or to, you can say, develop something, to test something, so that they can quickly go to your main network. Right? So in every blockchain platform, there are three kinds of networks, or mostly two kinds: test network and main. But then if you go to test network, you need to have test tokens. I believe everybody has some sort of understanding of blockchain. So I'm just leveraging, or I'm just using some terms which are very normal for blockchain platforms. So for test tokens, again, you need to go and you need to find out test tokens, and then you can leverage and all. But then there is a third environment which is highly required for any sort of development before even going to testnet. That environment is known as sandbox environment. Now, this sandbox environment basically means that we are setting up the entire blockchain node in our machine, right? Now, we all know that all the blockchain platforms are basically open source and Linux oriented. So there are very few platforms which you can create a node on Windows, right? Like we know that most of blockchain developers in India are from Ethereum background or typically Solidity background. Over there, you have Remix and you have Truffle and you have Hard Hat. You can create different nodes and connect. So over here also, we provide the same sort of ease of use in terms of creating a node or creating a development environment over Windows platform specifically. And even beyond that, Windows Home even. You don't even require Windows Pro. Windows Home will also be fine, which is normally there with every sort of laptop. So over here, what are we trying to achieve today? Like I have set up a sandbox environment. What are the capabilities of AlgoKit? How AlgoKit can benefit you in speed up your development process? What are the various templates provided by AlgoKit? If you have developed something using AlgoKit, that means today we are going to deploy a simple hello world contract. So how can I see from a simple UI perspective? How can I see over the deployment? So is there a sandbox environment running somewhere else where I can connect? Or do I need a test platform? All these questions will be answered so that you can take the first step. If you are migrating from any other platform, that is also you are going to get that benefit that, okay, I'll try to compare also certain technologies. So it will be easier for you to understand. If that is not the case and you are starting for the first time, then also it will help you that how to manage everything from this AlgoKit perspective to start a very, you can say, or to take the first step in the direction of Algorand development. Okay, or rather Algorand smart contract development. So what I'll do is I'll just open my terminal. Now terminal is basically your command prompt, your PowerShell or any sort of Windows environment. Now give me a moment, I'll just share my screen. So share screen. Anybody, if you can, in the chat, if you can confirm that my screen is visible. and it is readable. Actually, the text is, you are able to read the text.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for confirmation. So if you have installed everything properly, the AlgoKit and you need to start from Docker. From after Docker, you need to install Python 3.11. It is right now the current version is, so it is better to use that. Then you need to install GitHub. You need to install ppex, and then final as a last step, AlgoKit. It will not take more than 15 minutes for the entire setup to install, right? Unless and until there is some very weird error. Otherwise, it will not take more than 15-20 minutes. Maybe the downloading, because Docker is 573 MB, maybe that will take some time, but overall setting up and everything will not take more than 15 minutes, right? So that is the first step. We believe that we have already taken care of that part. So currently, I am inside a directory called codes in my Windows machine. So now what will I do? I'll just have AlgoKit. Now you can see that it is already identified. That's why it is giving in yellow. I want to check the version. So you can see that what is the current version over here. So it is 1.4.1, which is the current version over here. So basically this AlgoKit comes up with a great capacity, right? But we all know that the first challenge is writing down the smart contract. But that is not even the first challenge in blockchain, because when we want to deploy, then we need to have that API file. We need to connect that API to the front end. We need to properly format the contract. We need to properly format the front end, and then we need to connect to the sandbox environment. And then we have to see that what is going on, right? So over here, what we have done, we have presented you, or we have given you a scope that you can, all this legwork is already done by us, right? So what are we trying to do? Let's see that. So AlgoKit, if you write down this very simple init command, if you enter, then it will present you 4 different options. Fifth is basically if you want to do something completely from scratch on your own. So normally, no, we don't do that. First is Beaker, right? Now, if you are coming from a Solidity background, you are already aware of what is truffle and hardhead. So a similar role is played by Beaker over here, so that it allows you to integrate with your front end, back end, your wallet creation and your smart contract invocation and everything. Beaker can help you in that process, where you are able to deploy the contracts over local net or test network or sandbox or mainnet. And then the second platform, second template is React.js. Now we all know that what is a React.js? It's a front end application, right? But if you create that template, you will not have any smart contracting. So just a React.js basic front end template. The third template is your full stack template. So what is a full stack template basically? So it is React plus Beaker. That means a full-fledged backend is created for you. A full-fledged front end is created for you. And if you can just start the backend first, and then you can start the front end, so that you can actually deploy your contract over the sandbox, and you can interact with the smart contract using the React.js front. That means everything is done for you. It is just that you have to take that first step. Today we are going to have the playground, which comes with some 6 different smart contracts, which are very basic for you to understand, so that it tells you that, okay, how to deploy, how to check whether what is deployed over the sandbox, how to integrate with anything else, or how to integrate with the front end. Now, today we are not going to write any kind of code over here. So for front end, we have also a different website where you can just integrate your sandbox environment wallet, which normally is not there in any other platform I've seen. So over here, the same you can say sandbox environment or same sandbox wallet, you can integrate with the front end and still interact with the application you have deployed, right? So over here, if I go ahead and create this one, playground, so I can just select the playground. I have to name this one. So normally I have a habit of giving the name like Algo PG3. So it gives me an idea that, okay, this is a playground application. Let's say 4. I'm not sure whether 3 is there or not. So I'll go PG4, enter. Then it will start the template and everything. It will start copying the directory. Now it will ask us that, okay, we have to, okay, let me just, okay, so it is Y. Then virtual environment is created via Poetry. Poetry is the package manager for Python. So today, whatever we are doing right now we are doing from the Python perspective. Now, why Python? So that you don't have to learn a different language. And you can see that as soon as the entire process is over, it automatically opened a Python, Visual Code, right? So while upon checking this one, there is a readmd file by default. You can study this file in detail. We want to get the every bit of information about what project we have created, what is being done over here and all, right? So let us see where is my smart contract over here. Because I'm being a developer, I know that is the first thing you want to check. Where is my smart? So I'll just go to my playground. I'll just go to hello world and I'll go to my hello world.py. Now just a second, I'll just increase the size so that it is easier for you to see. Now I believe it is visible, the text, right? Everyone?
Yes,
In
it
the
is.
chat also. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for confirmation. So over here, the hello world.py, that means this Python file is created for us. But this is not just a Python file. This is a contract, right? So this is like Beaker application, hello world. I'm not going to dig deep into the code right now, but just briefing you that this is a smart contract with a function called hello. And the smart contract or this function is designed to return whatever string you enter. Like if I enter my name, hello Sunil Kapadia, it will give me hello Sunil Kapadia. So this is a smart contract given. Now we all know that we are living in the era where everybody requires microservices or modular architecture or modular files and everything. So nobody likes to put every bit of code in the same file. So we also followed the same approach. So now we all know that for Python file to work, we need to deploy the Python file. That means you need to run the Python file. But running is not enough for here. Why? Because everybody knows that when you deploy a smart contract, you need to generate an ABI file. Without that ABI file, your front end will not be able to understand what is going on with your smart contract. Right? That's a separate discussion altogether. So I don't want to dig into that part. But point is, we need an ABI file. Because of a DApp, which is known as decentralized application, we need an ABI file to communicate with the smart. So over here, this particular file, build.py, we discussed that particularly because we need an ABI file, we need to run this file. So what this file will do, this file will create that ABI file. In which folder? The folder called artifacts. You can see that there is no folder named artifacts over here, right? So artifacts, basically what it does is it creates a folder and it converts the code into application.json. That means it converts it, you can say compiles the smart contract and creates a JSON file, which is basically what? That basic JSON file is your ABI. Now, once I deploy this one, so we will see this artifacts folder. Within that artifacts folder, we will see this file. Now, how to deploy? Very simple. We can just run this file or direct the demo.py. But I'll just explain the demo.py and then we will run that. So if I click on demo.py, now the first 5 minutes, we discussed that every smart contract, in order to get deployed, it requires an RPC URL. So over here, that RPC URL is provided. Now this RPC URL is my sandbox URL. Now, how do I know that my sandbox environment is running? Right? I'm not sure whether my sandbox environment is running or not. So what you need to do? You need to open your Docker desktop, which you might have installed before starting this one. Rather, why? Because that is the first step. So without this, it is not going to work. Now over here, we can see that there are two things working over here. Three rather. One is this Alpine or this AlgoKit. Just a second. Yeah. Postgres and AlgoD. One more node is there, indexer, which we will start and it will automatically be running. So typically, if you want to check whether your sandbox is running or not, then if these three nodes, there will be third node called AlgoKit indexer. This third node, the three nodes are or three images are working in the container segment. images and containers. You can see that, right? If you go to images, you will see that the indexer, Postgres, and AlgoD. And if you go to containers, it will be displaying to you, right? So the point is pretty simple. What am I trying to achieve over here? That the three nodes are working in sync to create a sandbox environment. Why sandbox environment is required? In order to deploy the smart contract into your Algorand net, right? So this is working. This is fine. Now, in order to run, what we need the third file, that demo.py. So over here, we know that, okay, this is done. But we also know that every blockchain platform interacts, or you can interact with the blockchain platform via a wallet only. Like if you are using Remix or anything else, you need MetaMask. Otherwise, you will not be able to interact, or any other wallet. But over here, this particular statement will create that wallet for you from AlgoD client. From where? This one. So AlgoD node will allow you to create an account for you. That's okay. And then we can interact, or we can deploy the content. Now let us see whether this particular file, if we run that, what happens. So demo.py, keep it selected, and then you can just a second, guys, my menu, because of this increase the size, I lost that menu of run. So start debugging. And you can see over here, the first thing is AlgoGit local net start. So it is starting the environment for us, and then it will install. Don't worry about this error. This is a that one, what do you say, PowerShell error, because there is a script which is running to activate the Python working environment. So it is giving this error. It has nothing to do with Algorand. This is typically PowerShell error from Windows. But what am I interested in is in these three lines. That means our code, which we have just seen, the hello world, is now deployed. And we all know that every transaction in the blockchain world, whenever you do something, write operations, not read operations. Whenever you write something over the blockchain, you will have a transaction ID. So yes, we have this transaction ID. Then you have an app ID, which you won't see in many platforms. Normally, they have just a smart contract address, which is over here. But then this is something else. So for this, you can consider this as a smart contract address also, app ID. So this is fine. But now, I mean, this is a sandbox environment. But I want to see what happened in this transaction, or actually this transaction happened, or it is just like I'm just doing some sort of code matching underline and some random string is produced, right? So that is also a challenge. How to see that? Like most of the sandbox environments, you cannot see everything, but over here you can do that. That means I have a website which can connect to your sandbox environment, and whatever you have deployed, you can even test via simple UI developed over that particular website. So now what we'll do, let us go ahead and check that website. So that website is called app.dappflow.org, right? So typically what this website does is, if you remember, there was a site called click.dapp or something, one click dapp or something like that. What was it? The basic purpose of that site? To deploy the Solidity based smart contracts over there, and will give you a simple UI so that you can interact before writing your front end. You can interact with your smart contract from the front end and see whether it works or not. And you can even share those links, or you could even share those links with your friends so they can also test. But now that site is closed because it was a third-party website. Here, this is our website. So over here, this is directly able to connect to your sandbox environment also. If you have drop down, if you click over here, you will see that the three networks which we discussed, sandbox, test network, and mainnet. But there is additional one more thing, beta net. So there advanced features or anything you want to test, you should do that. But normally we are happy with these first three. And you can see that now I can connect to my sandbox environment. That's fine. But again, in the sandbox environment part also, the main challenge over here is we need a wallet to connect. Now the wallet is created within my Docker image, the AlgoD. So will I be able to access the same wallet, or do I need to create a new one? Right. So let us see that. On this website only, there are the thing called dev wallets is there. So if we go ahead and check, there are two wallets I have already created. Now this particular wallet You can see that both the wallets have different. Just a second, guys. So both the wallet addresses basically are having different balances. The reason is one I have created from here, the other I have imported from KMD. KMD is basically the sandbox environment node from where I am able to create the wallets. Now, how do I check that what wallet addresses are created for me via the AlgoKit in the sandbox environment, right? I mean, Nikhil, my screen sharing is disabled.
So we can't see your screen.
Yeah, I
Yeah, just
know.
a second.
Somebody
Yes,
might
can
have
you?
disabled the screen sharing. So,
Uh,
Mohita, Nikhil,
yeah,
could
I'm
you
right here. I'm right here. I'm right
Try
here.
again, Sunil. Try again.
yeah, it is there.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, share. So, I hope guys, my screen is visible now.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it's
So,
is.
visible.
Yes, it is.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So over
visible.
here, you can see there are two wallets created, and two wallets have different balances. That shows that one is created from maybe here. Let us do that. So if I do create wallet, yeah, that's okay. I'm able to create this new one, and the balance is 100. But then this wallet is different wallet than these two wallets. Why? Because it has been imported from here, KMD. From where? From my own sandbox environment. How do I check that? So if I go ahead over here, AlgoKit goal account list. So you can see that the same wallet addresses are listed over here. KO, LAC, and QHF. If you go and check on that website, you will see the same list over here. KOQ. But then if you click on import from KMD, and you can just connect, and you can see those three wallets over here: LAC, KOQ, and QHF. So ultimately, what wallet addresses you have used to deploy the code, you can use the same wallet address from here. You just need to have add to dev wallets. So if I click over here, add to dev wallets, very simple. Now you can go ahead and check on the dev wallets part, and you see that the same wallet address is now there. Clear? Very easy. You are using your own wallet addresses which are generated in your sandbox environment. Like typically, this is not the behavior with any other platform I have seen, right? So this gives us that opportunity to use the same wallet addresses over here. Now, where can I see my application? Because I have deployed the smart contract over here. I got the ID also 1011. I got the address also. But can I check this transaction ID over there also? Like whether I made a transaction or not, or what are the details over there? Yes, you can. You can go to Dappflow and you can paste that address over, and you can see that it is there. Sender QHF. So wallet address is given to you. Application ID is 1011, right? The block number 11. So yes, the transaction happened, and we are able to see that. So basically, this is your sandbox explorer also. That means you are now able to see whatever you have interacted over this website also, which is there in your sandbox, right? Which is running locally. So you can see the beauty of it, right? Now, as I told you, or I promised you that we will be able to see the application also, which we just deployed. What we deployed? Hello world. What is the application ID? 1011. Same one over here. So if I click over there, so you can see that application ID creator is this one, application account is this one, both the approval and clear, which we will discuss in some of the sessions. What are these two files? And the other information, right? The transactions ID. I mean, I have tested some things, so it is listed over here also. But then I want to have our own. So what will I do? I'll go to Beaker Studio. So Beaker Studio, basically, as we discussed earlier, this is similar to Truffle. So it also allows you to deploy your smart contracts over the sandbox environment. So what will I do? I'll just drop down. I'll click on the drop down here, and then I'll click on import Beaker app. So if I click over here, it will present to me as an upload file, a JSON file. So only JSON files are allowed to be uploaded. So if I select over here, upload file, it will directly go to where? To my code. And what we have done, Algo PG4. So we have to go to that folder. We have to go to playground. We have to go to Hello Worlds. Why? Because the artifacts folder was within the Hello World folder. Now, if I click on artifacts folder and then click on application file, need to open. So you can see that the app is created, Hello World app. Just scroll down at the bottom and you can see that the methods are also there, right? So over here, guys, you can put your questions over there. That's fine. I'll answer at the end. Last 15 minutes is for Q&A only. So don't worry about that. Currently, I'm not breaking the flow. That's why I'm not answering any questions, right? But you can keep writing in the chat. That's fine. So over here, we can see that hello method. Now, where did this come from? If you remember, if you go ahead and check the file, this one, hello world.py, you can see that the definition, the only definition in the smart contract or only function in the smart contract is named hello. And we are getting the same one over here, hello, right? So let us execute then. Okay, so let me execute. But then it is giving me an error. Please connect your wallet. Why? Because in order to interact with the blockchain, we need to first connect the wallet. Now the wallet is in our sandbox, but we have imported already. So what we can do, we can click at this bottom button, connect wallet. It will present 5 different wallets to us, Algo Signer, MyAlgo, Para Wallet, Dappflow Wallet. But we are in this sandbox, so we are going to have the Dev Wallet. If you click over there, you will see that 4 addresses. But I told you that there can be only 3 wallet addresses. Then where did this 4th come from? Because I have created a wallet also over there, create wallet, if you remember. So that wallet is also now listed, right? So now I can select any one of that. Let's say, let us go select this one, LAC. But now, okay, wallet is connected. We have uploaded the JSON file. So everything is okay. But again, if I try to execute, it will still give me an error. App ID is null. If you already have an existing app, please set up your app ID using the edit button. If not, create a new application. But we have an app ID, right? Where 1011. If you carefully look at the answer which we received, app ID is 1011. That means it is already created for us. So now the next step is we just need to add the number. So what I can do is I can do 2 things over here. One, I can write the number like this, 1011, save, and it will work. And if I go at the bottom page or bottom part of the page, and if I click on execute now, I'll be able to see the code also, or the UI for our code. So I'll do that, hello Algorand. And if I click on execute, you will be able to see that it is an expected behavior because the hello function would or is supposed to return whatever string we enter with the hello keyword. So that is done. Hello Algorand. Now I want to see the transaction. You can click over here and the transaction is visible to you. You can see that application call, file stamp, timestamp is there, block number 14. The gas fee is also 0.001 Algo. The application ID, yes, we know that it was 1011. And the sender is the same wallet address which we selected, right? And the text and everything is given to you. So in base 64, the text will look like this. But if you convert to text, you will be able to see the output also that you have entered the value called Algorand, right? So what this allowed to us is basically it allowed us to deploy. It allowed us to use our smart contract which we deployed over the sandbox environment. And most importantly, From the website also, you can add your wallet to your sandbox and you can still interact with that, which is a beauty, right? Normally, none of the other platforms are capable to do that, right? So if I want to see anything else, like I told you that there are two ways to create the application. So let us go back to Beaker Studio one more time over here. And let me just keep this null, right? So again, because it is null, if I go at the bottom and try to execute, it will tell me to have an app ID, because without app ID, sort of your address or smart contract address, the front end will not be able to interact with the smart. So in that case, what we will do, you can click on this button called create app. So if I click over here, create app, it will create a new app. Let us do that. Create. Transaction is successful. But then you can see that the number is now 1015. That means the application which you have deployed had the number 1011, but this deployed a newer one, right? So if now you want to execute, you can do the same thing. Why? Because the behavior is pretty much the same. The contract is same, so behavior has to be same. Execute. So this is the beauty. Either you want to create a new application, you can. If you already have created in your sandbox environment, you can utilize the same number over here and you are good to go. Right? So this is the very simple or very easy in order to create a contract. Deployment scripts are ready. If let's say tomorrow, if you want to have a new contract, or if you want to develop your own contract, just create a folder over here. Use these two files, make the necessary changes and deploy. You don't need to worry about how to write down a proper code, because everything is done for you over here, right? Why? Everything at the production level code is given, so that your journey with Algorand becomes very smooth, right? So again, this is your sandbox environment, right? Now tomorrow, if you want to test that, let's say I want to test this same application over the test network also. So what you need to do, just click on drop down and Algorand test network. Yeah, we are good to go. But here the challenge is, because the wallet addresses of sandbox environment will not work over here. Typically, of course, yes, it will not work. Why? Because now we are moved out of sandbox and now you have entered the AlgoNode test network. And you can see that at the bottom, automatically it got disconnected from the sandbox wallet. So now if you want to do that, then I just have to connect wallet again. You need to go to dev wallet and you can do this one. No, you don't need to do this one. Even if you do that, let's say if you do that, what will happen? Let's try this one and execute. Then what is the error? Network request error 404, application does not exist. Why? Because this application was deployed on the sandbox environment and this was not deployed on the local test network. So you cannot consume the same application without deploying to the test network again, right? So over here, what we need to do again, we have done this one. So let's see and deploy again. So import Beaker app, same thing, upload file and same again process for the same thing, right? But the challenge over here is, because the wallets we have connected is not from the test network. These wallets are from sandbox environments. So even you will not get anything over here also, right? So what we need to do is, we need to go to dev wallets and we need to create a wallet. Now this wallet, you can see that the wallet is created, but then they don't have anything over here. So this is a new wallet we just create. Now what do I need to do? We all know that in order to get a test tokens, you need a dispenser. So I'll copy over here, right? And then I'll open the Algorand dispenser. And this is the link which will give us the necessary algos for our deployment. Yeah, it is done. So now if I go to dev.dappflow over here, and if I just refresh the page, we can see that 10 algos in ZR, this particular environment. So now I want to connect to this wallet. Yeah, that's fine. We are done. Now if I go to over here, Beaker Studio, and if I want to import again this import Beaker app. I'll upload the file from here, application.json. Again, why is it not working? Okay, let us just refresh. I'm not sure what went wrong over here. Main network. Let me go to test network again. Connect wallet, dev wallet. This one I'm supposed to connect. Let me go to dev wallets again. Yeah, this has 10. Now I go to app manager. We don't have any app, so I can create the application. I can import from here and create. Because this is test network, it will take some time. Yeah, done. So your app is also now created. Now if you click over here, view transaction, you will be able to see that application is created. If you click over that application ID, you will get the same application, Hello World, right? So if you want to attach, you can attach the API file also over here. But now we are able to see the application ID number, right? Of course, this is on test networks, the number will be very high. So the behavior is pretty much the same. We can deploy the smart contract on the sandbox. We can deploy the smart contract over test network from the same window. Do we need to create a new node on our own? Let's say in other platforms, we need to have either QuickNode or Moralis or any other third-party services. Over here, no such requirement. You can just open this website, connect or deploy your code over test network. We just saw that how easy it is to get the test tokens also. We got those test tokens and now we are able to work around, right? So this is very simple. So let me just do this, copy. Let us go to Beaker Studio and let us just put that number over here because we have already created, save. That is all done. And if I go and execute this time, let's see whether this works or not. So I'll say that Sunil Kapadia from Algorand. Let us see whether this works or not. Execute. Again, it will take some time. Why? Because it is on test network. You can see that the test network transaction and everything is done, right? So this is this easy in order to interact with the environment, in order to interact on test network as well as the sandbox environment. So I have not even imported my wallet. I have not done anything else. It is that easy to deploy, to test your smart contracts on sandbox as well as you test the same smart contracts on test, right? So basically this AlgoKit allows you to quickly deploy your contract, quickly even design your contract with the production grade code. Then it allows you to interact with the sandbox as well as your test network also is possible, right? So over here, if you want to check all the commands from AlgoKit, you can just write down AlgoKit -h and you will be able to see what commands are possible. Deploy, generate, explore, or init. We have whatever we have used. Local net that basically allows you to utilize your sandbox. I mean, it creates your sandbox environment. AlgoKit local net start. So if I write down this command, AlgoKit local net start, it will create the local sandbox environment onto your machine. So ultimately, this particular kit is an extremely important tool for any developer who wants to start his journey on his or her journey on Algo, right? Okay, now as decided, last 10-15 minutes will be around Q&A. So let me just open my chat and let us see what are the messages I've received. Okay, Mayuk has a question, why we created a wallet in smart contract? We have not created a wallet in smart contract, Mayuk. We have written a code which allowed us to deploy the contract over the net. That's why we did that. Okay, that is one question. The other question, okay, anything else? Then we have, okay, let me just scroll from the beginning so I don't miss any question. All right, this is all done. Then we have the first question. All good, yes, sir. Thank you. In Nikhil, okay. How to set this up? Okay, in session 3, the one which we have used just now, the AlgoKit, we will even walk through the entire process so that you can start from the beginning, from the Docker installation till the last part of how you can install this AlgoKit with ease in just 15-20 minutes, right? Then there is a question around about MetaMask. So I'm not sure what to read, but Vital, I believe. So Vital, I'm not sure what was the question. So if you can just open your mic, that would be also great. And ask me the question, what you want to know about the wallet. All right. Meanwhile, Vital comes online. Let's see that. Mayuk had one more question. I think MetaMask, the wallet address is hash of the secret key first shown. Is dev wallet directly imitating wallet address? No. Mayuk, every blockchain framework works on the same principle of wallet creation. So wallet creation is basically wallet creation happens via the mnemonic, right? So every wallet is generated. You are talking about HD wallet, right? So this HD wallet basically it's a deterministic wallet. So it generates from a mnemonic, some phrase keywords, right? If you want to see that, I'll showcase. Just give me a moment. I'll showcase the command also how to do that. Okay. So if I open this one, the text, the window, and I want to see that mnemonic from which these three wallet addresses are created, right? So you can just do like this. AlgoKit. Then you have to write down 4. Oh, there are 2 AlgoKits. Okay, let me just close this one. There is some problem with that terminal. So over here, what I need to do, AlgoKit, goal. Then I need to use the word account. Then I need to use export, hyphen address. And then I need to paste the address over here, right? Which I don't have right now with me. So what I'll do is I'll open one more terminal and then get the list over there. So AlgoKit goal account list, right? So we have this address now, and I can just copy that address from this window and I'll paste over here. And let us press enter. So this is the mnemonic from which the combination of your wallet address as well as your private key is created, right? So,
Thank you,
okay,
sir.
no worries. So then Harshit has a question. Can we have another session of it as I missed? Okay. Harshit, this session is being recorded, so you can watch that recorded session. Then Arjun is smart contract work as back. Okay, that's some answer. Can we write contract in JS also or just in Python? So that's an interesting question, Umar. Umar has a question that which languages are supported basically for development over Algorand. So Python, yes, because we don't want you to learn any other language, and JS also that in TS you can do that TypeScripting. Yeah, PyTil and TypeScript. PyTil is from Python and TilScript is basically similar to your TypeScript. And the third one is Visual Studio C Sharp, or that typically called C Sharp. So Microsoft family guys, they also don't need to learn anything, any newer language. They can leverage C Sharp to develop the same sort of programming over Algorand. And I believe with Microsoft, this is the second platform. The first platform is Ethereum, which I'm pretty sure that everybody has experienced that it doesn't work that well. While this works flawlessly. So in one of the sessions also, we will cover that how to interact with C Sharp using .NET or rather Visual Studio, right? Okay. I believe I've answered all the questions in the chat. So any other questions from anyone?
I believe, thank you, Sunil. I believe that we will probably have more questions when we post this up on YouTube. There is a
Yes.
YouTube channel where this
Yes.
video will be posted. And as we move on, we'll have more deeper insights. This was supposed to be an overview of how AlgoKit looks like and how we can run applications. And thank you, Sunil, for showing it to us with such ease. It's so clear. And I think, but of course, people who have attended would love to see how we can install and get set up, which we will be
Yes.
doing in a couple of weeks. Next week, we will be looking into the .NET framework and how we can do some interesting things using .NET around the Algorand blockchain platform. I think we'll be looking at deploying some smart contracts, probably, right? Or how
Yes,
smart
yes.
contracts are deployed.
On
Yeah.
on
So,
.NET from the perspective of regular programming, as well as if you want to create a game, that's where Unity comes in the picture. So from Unity perspective, also it is very, very easy to integrate Algorand. And believe me, guys, I'm not sure whether you have implemented anything in Unity or not, but by far this is the easiest platform to integrate with Unity to do anything in terms of blockchain, either to create an NFT or to create a token or anything else. It's very easy.
yeah. So if we have no further questions, so Mayuk has something with PyTeal and Teal script. I think
Yeah, I have answered that.
he
So
was
he wanted
he
to
was
know what are the,
responding.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So everyone, I think I would just like to quickly invite our country head Anil Kakani, who's joined us, to just say a few words. And this was our first session, so Anil, some words from you.
Yeah, thanks, Nikhil, and thanks especially to our guru, Sunil, for such a great session. So we're going to be doing these every week, as I think was probably explained at the beginning. This is like our, obviously we do Twitter Spaces every other week on Thursday. It's a slightly different vibe, obviously very less technical, less, kind of training and teaching. But give us your feedback. Give Sunil your feedback. Sunil has traveled all over the country with us, and even before his time with Algorand, teaching young developers like all of you. And the feedback you give will make sure that the content that he's presenting, that is on point. Your questions are very, very valuable. I should also mention, so these will be happening every week up until our Impact Summit in late November. I hope all of you will be at our Impact Summit. Those of you who are ABC leads across the country will be hearing from Mohita about your invitations and attending the Impact Summit. It'll be a wonderful time. You'll get to meet Sunil, our guru Sunil in real life. We'll have workshops going on there. So this is great. Love this session. Love the the technical and educational aspect of it. That's what Algorand is all about. Teaching people, engaging people on how to build on our platform. So thanks everybody for being here. I'll turn it back to you, Sunil and Nikhil.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you, Anil. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you, Sunil, for giving us an engaging first session, and of course, first of many. As mentioned, this session is recorded. This session will be posted in our YouTube link. And for those of you who joined late or want to just read on and see, look at things, you will be able to review that. And you would also have the opportunity to put in comments there, which we would definitely like to see. So thank you again, and and looking forward to seeing you next week. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much, everyone.